Hey everyone, welcome back to Flower School. Again, my name is Cal Requeri. I'm the Executive Director here, and it is a supreme privilege to have one of my favorite florists and business owners here in New York City come and join us for a short conversation about wellness and the events and floral design industry. Patrick Hall, the owner and CEO, I believe, of Elan Flowers. For those of you guys who don't know, Elan Flowers is very well known in New York City for just absolutely perfect flowers. They've been doing it again, over and over again for years. They have wonderful clients, and I think it's sort of the flower shop gift business envy of New York City. And in addition to that, they do lots of events and they do a lot of bespoke things, but I think that you've just done an amazing job over the years.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks. So just tell us a little bit, tell these guys a little bit about how you kind of got started and where you are now.
I actually started in the floral industry here in New York City after I got out of graduate acting school, and I was pursuing my acting career, and my day job was working in florists, and then it became working in event companies, and then I worked for about 10 years as a corporate event designer, and decided to buy a florist. And I bought an existing florist. Elan Flowers, been around since 1983.
Yeah, it's a good move.
And that was how I started. I bought that 10 years ago in 2015, and we've been growing since then.
Yeah, amazing. So, I mean, the real reason why we're here is to talk a little bit about, doing this sort of long term. I have had just a ton of experience working with people who are new to the flower business. They have decided that they want a creative career and they love working with their hands. And so the flower business is sort of perfect for that type of passion and someone's interested in doing that. However, I think that, as Patrick probably attested, been doing it now for 20 years or more than 20 years. What does it take to stay in an industry that is this physically demanding for over 5 years, I want to say? Because I think that a lot of people in for 3, 7 years and then they're done. But to do 5, 10 years and to continue to have success going forward, I think takes a lot mentally, physically, and creatively. You have to have a lot of passion for it. So I think there's a great opportunity on the Flower School Wellness Day to have Patrick and have this conversation about some of the things that he has done to prepare him and his staff for the longevity, as opposed to just working from day to day.
Well, thank you. I think one of the reasons that I wanted to have my own flower shop was because I had had so many experiences working with other designers in situations where you're just thrown into creative situations, but you're on a deadline and you're working with a team, some of which you've never met before. It's, just thrown into the fire, so to speak.
Sure.
So part of that was an adrenaline rush and something that I really enjoyed. But as I got older and had a family and responsibilities, I saw that that wasn't really a stable lifestyle that really was going to sustain me for the long term. So that's when I started to think about things like, having a team of like-minded creatives that have employment and benefits and things and paid vacation time and things that, I wanted for my life. And that was one of the reasons and one of my impetuses for thinking about having my own flower shop.
Sure. What do you think, to get granular here, but what do you think the top 3 things that a flower business can do for their employees to help them stay in the game, being creative and enjoying this amazing career that being a florist is?
Well, I think for us at Elan Flowers, one of the things that I wanted to be different than what I'd experienced before, it's like more the mentality when I was working in corporate events was whatever it takes. That was the mentality.
Wow. Okay.
Whatever it takes. And
that'll burn you out pretty quick.
We would be the first ones on site and the last one, sweeping up after the last vendor left at the end of the night.
Yeah.
It was, you were on the whole time, and you might go for 24 hours or more. If you're doing multiple day events, just forget about any kind of rest.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wanted something different with having a flower business. So what I try to do for myself and what I've learned from my own therapy and healing is not putting that pressure on myself, not being overly hard on myself if something doesn't go right, giving myself grace so that I can do that same thing with the others, and especially with my workmates. So our motto at Elan Flowers is be kind. It's what our clients are doing when they order flowers or have flowers at their event. They're doing something kind and beautiful. I want us to do that same thing in our work environment. And I tell the people that work with us, if you're not being kind to yourself, you're not going to be kind to each other. And then you're not going to be kind to our clients.
Wow.
Right?
That's incredible. It's funny. I know you've had this before, but we talk about this a lot actually in the Flower School program. One of our business classes is called the Flower Shop Series. And the first thing that the students have to kind of discuss and generate on their own is a mission statement. And there's a lot of mission statements, or like just do it, which is actually an ad slogan, not really a business statement. But I think that our prompt, the one that we give them to kind of describe what this is, it's sort of like a value statement. And we just say the business will focus on respect for the customers, respect for each other, and respect for ourselves. Meaning that, if we are not having a good day, maybe we need to take a step back. You shouldn't have to force anything. Respect for each other, meaning, don't make a mess that someone else has to clean up. Try to be as responsible and kind. And, it actually has nothing to do with the customer at all. It has everything to do with the team and respecting each other, because you don't want to go to a workplace where everyone's mean. You want to create and go be happy at a place where everyone is happy and respectful. And I think that it's funny that is your motto, because that's the prompt for the Flower School Flower Shop program.
Yeah. Well, I think you've got to decide what works for you. Creating those mission statements, those values. We've done that for our business too. We have a whole outline that we do that we're onboarding people that they have to agree to, abide by, and want to work in our company ethos.
What about physically? For those of you guys who are watching this who might think that the flower business is a very fun, relaxing business, I think that you'll be hard-pressed to find a working florist who will agree with you. It is a lot of work, mostly work. It's basically a professional cleaner of organic material. And if you have time, you get to make a few flower arrangements, which is sort of how we describe it here. But it's the work, the heavy lifting, the on your feet all day type of job, like a kitchen job or a restaurant job or a service job. How have you been able to have your staff sustain that type of long working hours and feel good? And is there some sort of physical thing that they do, or what is the secret to longevity physically working in a demanding business like this?
Well, it's a lot different from what I used to do when I was freelancing and would be on, like in a big event site like the Javits Center or something, when you're walking just a long ways a day, and you start at a certain hour and you don't know what time it's going to end, because I've pulled 14-hour days were nothing when you're on an event site.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, especially here in New York, you're coming in and out of venues, and you have to get there at just the right moment to get the stuff into the venue and get to your place that you've got designated, and wait until the other event is loading out so that you're not overlapping on It's just there's so much logistics to just before you can even get into the room with your stuff to do your thing.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. So that's kind of hard. Is like I try to schedule my team accordingly so that they're not working crazy hours. And I'm even doing that now with our big holidays, like Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, is making sure that we have enough people and nobody has to work more than, say, a 10-hour day. But this year we were even able to do regular 8, 9-hour days for some of our staff because they're working the entire week.
Yeah.
So, we do abide by all the labor laws so that the people can, make their hours. If they do more than 40 hours a week, they're making time and a half. And so that's just something that I feel really strongly about, is just like making sure people are not overworked.
Yes.
So that we're scheduling it accordingly. We're planning enough staff so that nobody has to run or rush.
Yeah.
But you have enough help.
Yeah. Well, I do find, like when people are these long days that can happen. I think that Patrick, if you guys are in the flower business and you're watching this, you're probably hearing Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, floral holidays, and those kind of when go time is. I mean, those are big holidays for florists, Super Bowl-esque, and I feel like there actually is some training that is required in order to be able to be on your feet for 10 hours for 3 days or 4 days in a row. I think it does require some stretching. I think it does require time where you sit down to find time to sit for lunch. I tell the students, we have a freelancing class here that we offer now about how to be a good freelance florist. And don't get too excited. It's really just about cleaning, because it's just about cleaning buckets and stuff. But it doesn't mean that job isn't important, because all the jobs are important. But what I do say is that if a company that you're working for, if they don't have a cart to transport things from the car to the venue, then maybe it's not a great place to work. Or you should think about bringing your own cart, because there's just no reason why that it's of no value to anyone if you have to lift heavy boxes of flowers and walk down flights of stairs, and not have a cart to assist you. So I think that that's really important. You also said PTO, paid time off. I've often found that giving staff members the opportunity to take time off after the busy season is the best way to get them to work more diligently during the busy times, because they know that at the end of the tunnel, there's time off. And I think and they get paid for it. And I think that's a nice way of investing in the staff. And scheduling. I hear all these stories all the time. People saying, well, I was up until midnight for that wedding, and I was up until 2 a.m. for that wedding. And I guess I keep thinking to myself, have they never done this before? Do they not know how much work this takes and how much time you should allocate to each resource and when? And, I always feel like I feel like you can't do this job well for a long term unless you're organized and unless you have a reasonable expectation of the amount of work that goes into it, so that you can be prepared for beforehand and after.
Yeah. I think also using people's strengths. Some people are good at other things, and that's one of the things that I always did when I was putting together a team to install an event.
Yeah.
It's just everybody knowing what they do before you go on site. That saves you a lot of worry and running around.
Sure. Another thing that comes up a lot lately, which I'm excited to talk to Patrick about, and you guys might be feeling some of this at home, is this idea of decision fatigue. I feel that people who are creative and they're designing on the fly. I mean, for us at the school, we tell the students that even though you've made this arrangement before, it's every time it's just a little bit different of a circumstance, a little bit longer of a rose or a shorter of a this, or there's little bits that can change, and decisions have to be made about what's the most appropriate thing, and especially if it's a bespoke type of event where you're creating something new every time, that people end up getting overloaded with decisions, and then at the end of the day they can't think right. Is this something that you encounter ever, and how would you sort of approach this?
I think the decision-making thing has come more since I've been a business owner, and just trying to help and encourage people to be kind and confident in their choices and in their interactions with a client, so that it all doesn't come back to me, so that I'm not the bottleneck that's the one that's making all the decisions.
I feel that.
I think that's the way that I'm dealing with it right now. I don't know if I was just naive, but when I started in the business, I just loved it so much. I would just let go. It was like whatever it takes. It's just like, it's just that getting ready for showtime and getting the stuff ready for an event was so exciting. It was like doing theater, but doing a different show every day.
Sure. Well, it is, when for event florists in particular, it's definitely like opening night every night, every time you go to work, it's for an opening.
It's go time, showtime.
It's every single time. And there's no like, oh, we're just going to make a flower arrangement. Or, it's never like that, So I can see how, good preparation, planning, making decisions ahead of time. And then we have a saying here for our event design programs is that the plan is stick to the plan. Don't change the plan. If you just keep it steady, you'll do just fine. But if you are always changing and moving and back and forth, it changes too many things. And then before long, you've forgotten where you started.
Yeah.
So the plan is stick to the plan.
How do you teach people to keep a pace? Because that's key, whether you're working in a shop environment or an event environment. Sure. It's about keeping the right pace to be able to, am I going to get this done?
Yes.
I've got this many arrangements.
Wow.
Or I've got this area has been given to me.
Yeah.
It's got to be done by this time.
That's a huge question.
How to pace yourself.
Yeah. I think that one of the things about doing flowers, in creatives, there's a lot of passion in it, and you want it to be right. And so I think that people tend to overthink it quite a bit. For us, we tell the students on day one that the number one thing that employers are looking for in florists and floral designers is how quickly can they go and do it while doing it well. Yeah, how quickly can you go? And so we stress something that we call the efficiency of movement. I know this sounds crazy, but it's something that only a florist would maybe understand, is that you're not going to clean a flower, cut the flower, and put it in the vase. You're going to clean all the flowers, cut all the flowers, and put all of them into the vase. Do you know what I mean? There's no like, one, at a time, and then cut and, put in and put this down and pick up, it's like, no. It has to be an efficiency. So when we do a simple strip where we just strip, 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 pick up the bunch, grab the knife, cut all on an angle, and put all in the vase. And so they see it and they've done it, but it still takes a lot of time to know to do that first, rather than, let me just take a look at this one flower at a time. It's like, we get it. Yeah. We love the flowers. They are beautiful, and each one is a specimen bloomed to perfection, but we need it done in less time. As beautiful as it is, it's even more beautiful when it's done quickly.
Yeah. Well, it depends, I guess. Yeah. If somebody's why are they doing it? If they're doing it for their own enjoyment, that's one thing. But if you're doing it for an event or for a business, it's so important to work at a.
Is there an expectation for your staff? Because we start the students at 1 hour per arrangement, and that means picking the recipe, bringing it to the table, getting the vase, setting it up, making the flower arrangement. But by the end of the program, we expect them to do it in under 30 minutes per arrangement.
Well, we are a little more granular than that.
Wow. Okay.
We have in our signature collection anyway, we have 6 different sizes of arrangements, and we'll do it in 6 different color palettes. So each of those color palettes, they have a different recipe as a stem count for each of the arrangements. And then there are certain sizes that I expect to be done in 15 minutes. There's some that have to be done in 30 minutes, 45 minutes. An hour would be a little long.
Yeah, an hour is too long.
Unless it's a really large arrangement, then it could,
Even a really large arrangement shouldn't take an hour.
Well,
unless
depends.
It's an installation.
Well, the installations are usually done with teams, but even then, I time the installation to be how much can we do ahead of time, how much is going to be on site, and how many designers is it going to take. Have the flowers been conditioned and ready just to go into it before? If everything's ready, then you can get it done in less time. But for our retail arrangements, some of our larger things, we do a little bit different. We manicure each and every stem.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's placed into the vase individually into a structure that holds the whole thing in place. And then there's even an order that we like to put the flowers into the vase in order to create a consistent, mix of the flowers, to create those textures and subtle color palettes. So it's a little bit different, but we take a little bit of extra time even with those. But I expect people to learn it so that it becomes much faster.
Much faster, practice. Hey, Diego, to work on these arrangements anymore. Like, you have this amount of time and then you're done. So don't go slow, go quick, because you have to, it's something that some people have and some people don't. Some people would love to take their time, and some people have a sense of urgency. And you can learn a sense of urgency. But, you have to understand that other people are actively trying really hard to go quick. And it's like, don't slow them down because you want to slow down. Speed up so that you can be on this pace. And you had said something earlier as well about trusting your florists and letting them make decisions about decision fatigue. And I think that there's a kind of a crossroads between like this sort of sense of urgency and allowing the people to make their own decisions and make the right decisions, and giving them that ability to make the right, correct decision when they're going, pulls the stops from this sense of urgency, like pulls them to slow down, to wait for some sort of approval, a reason to slow down. It just pulls off all of the bridle and allows people to really run with it. And I think that as a boss, which I think you are a great boss, as a boss, giving the staff an opportunity to really run with certain things is actually a really great thing, I think, for a business owner to think about for their staff.
Well, one of the things I'm trying to do with a book I'm reading now about being curious and asking better questions, because I find it's very easy for me to enable them to ask me questions and then me just give directives.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I want to give them the opportunity to think and to train themselves to be able to answer those questions and make decisions quickly. But the only way I can do that is by stopping myself and listening and then asking better questions, so that they have to think, and then even if they give an answer, to say, what do you think? How do you think that would work? And then asking for permission to give feedback. Can I give you some feedback on that?
Yeah.
Or do you want to just try it?
Yeah.
Right? And then let them make their own choices and mistakes.
Do you find that, like, you personally are better at making decisions and learning from your own mistakes, or can you learn from other people's mistakes?
I feel like all of my mistakes have been my own. And I've learned from them. Okay. And I think that's the only way to learn.
I do too.
It's like you have to make mistakes. You have to try things, and if it doesn't work, I just had an install the other day, and I was like, I don't think that's the way to do the the foam structure to put in there, because once you do the greening, you're never going to find that. And sure enough, we get on site and they can't find where the water source is. So I just, just like so many things, but I'm trying to be better at letting people try things, make their own mistakes, learn their own way of working, because we all work better in different ways, and I can always learn from what other people try.
No, I agree. I think that also helps build a stronger team, having the team feel some autonomy where they can design things. And, unfortunately, oftentimes having the staff implement a design plan that is flawed can sometimes be a challenge.
Well, that comes back to the planning ahead of time.
Yeah.
Have that meeting before you're on site.
Yeah.
And go through it, everything. And that's what we're trying to do on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
We have our events meetings once a week,
Yep.
looking over all the events, and then a touch base before we go on site for each event.
Mm-hmm.
That really helps.
One of the things that, to change the subject a little bit, if you don't mind, that I find is so important about having a creative group and managing a creative team is letting them find inspiration from things. Like, what type of things do you guys do at your company to kind of inspire people, artistically and passion-wise for the job?
Well, a couple of people today came to the wellness day.
Oh,
that was something I was
move.
really, really glad for them to get to be a part of that. But yeah, we've done team things, team outings, going to the New York Botanical Garden, going to the Metropolitan, just buying everybody a drink on the balcony and letting them go around and find inspiration. I find that's what feeds me, so I try to create those opportunities for my team too.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, my favorite times are just when we are at the end of a week and we have a happy hour or play ping pong or, celebrate somebody's birthday.
Yeah, that is fun. That is fun. Cool. Well, I don't know. I think that I've exhausted all of my questions about how you guys sort of center your staff and help them achieve through, I don't know, I guess maybe this word is wellness, but I don't think it's the right word, but I think it is a little bit of caring and supporting the staff and, in a lot of different ways in the industry. So I think that this is a very specific industry, has specific demands, and also comes with specific challenges. So I think that you guys do a great job. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Great, you got it. So this is Elan Flowers in the Tribeca neighborhood of New York City. They can be reached at elanflowers.com or stop by the shop, ask for Patrick. He can show you around their beautiful facility. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments or check back again on our next video.
Thanks, Cal.